Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and for this video I'm going to go through all the Blu-rays and DVDs that I picked up in the month of June. So I got a lot of movies myself, which I usually do, but before I started I just wanted to say thank you to 3 people who actually sent me some movies themselves this month. That was Nick Turk, Mark of Horror, and another person kind of outside of YouTube who was kind enough to send me some things through. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you thinking of me and sending me some movies to watch. I really appreciate the gesture, so thank you so much. Just wanted to say that now before I kind of get into the movies and maybe forget to acknowledge that it was you that sent me them. But anyway, the first movie that I got was Alien Factor 2. So I have Alien Factor, the first one, on Blu-ray, which is a really good film. This one was pretty good. This is from Don Dola, who was known for kind of making low-budget monster movies in and around his hometown of Maryland. This one was okay. This one you don't see the creature as much. In other films like Night Beast and Alien Factor and Fiend, the creature's out there straight away. Things are happening from the beginning of the film and it's really cool. This one took a bit longer to get going, and whereas the other films that I've seen from Don Dola are in the 70s and 80s, this one's from like 2001. So it was interesting to see one of his more modern films that he did. I didn't enjoy it as much as the aforementioned films that he did, but I still had fun watching this one, especially when the alien creature invades the bar. That was really cool. So that was a fun film. Next movie I got is the Arrow limited edition of After Midnight. So this is what Nick Turk sent me. Thanks again, Nick. Not had a chance to watch this yet, but it sounds like a really interesting film. Just to clear up any confusion, this is not the anthology film from the 80s. There's also another film called After Midnight, which is an anthology film. This is a new film and seems like a bit of an indie type horror film, but I don't know too much about it really. I'm going to be watching it soon and checking it out, but looking forward to seeing what it's like. So that's After Midnight. Next film from Scream Factory is Bad Moon. Just trying to avoid the glare. So I did a video a while ago on my werewolf movies, and this movie was recommended to me by a few people, and it's a film that I wanted to see for a while anyway, so finally got around to picking this one up. Not had a chance to watch it yet, but looks really cool, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. Right, next up, I'll include my Vinegar Syndrome pickups again. And I got Blood Games. Still not got round to watching this yet, but I'm really looking forward to doing so. I've heard some people say it's okay, but then I've heard some reviews that say it's a really good one. So I will be watching this one very soon and checking it out. But like most people say as well, it's got a beautiful slipcase. Really love that slipcover from Vinegar Syndrome. Next movie I got is Blood Relic. So I saw Jay Super Awesome had reviewed this one. Sounded like a decent movie. So I'll be checking this one out at some point. Next movie, again from Vinegar Syndrome, is The Candy Snatchers. This was a really good film. If you are into your 70s exploitation horror movies, definitely check out Candy Snatchers. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a very underrated movie. It's about these 3 criminals that kidnap this teenage girl. She has a wealthy father, and they blackmail him to give him some diamonds or cash or something. But what they don't know is it's not actually her father, it's her stepdad, who actually doesn't give a crap. He's not a very nice guy, and it's in his favour that the teenage girl dies because he gets the inheritance money. So it really complicates matters, and it's a really clever film. But great acting, great performances. It has a multitude of tones in it, from sort of like violence and grim to quite comedic and just quite deep in places as well. Really good film. I highly recommend Candy Snatchers. Next movie that I picked up is Castle of the Walking Dead. So this is an old one from the 60s, sort of a gothic castle type movie. Christopher Lee is in this. He's a guy who is hung, drawn and quartered and then comes back to life to, I think he uses the blood of these women to come back or something like that. Right at the beginning of the month that I watched this one, but I enjoyed it. It had a good atmosphere about it. A little bit Hammer horror-esque, but didn't quite have the same flair as Hammer, but still enjoyable. Next up is The Cave. I watched this years ago when it first came out and didn't enjoy it, but I think I found it online for like £1 and thought I'd watch it again. It's okay. It's alright. Nothing special at all. I'm glad I didn't pay any more than £1 for it, and say that. Right, next movie up is Shores, Killer Boar film from Mark of Horror. Not had a chance to watch this yet, but looking forward to doing so. Sounds like it's going to be right up my street. Next movie is The Convent. This was a really fun film. I really like this one. It has a really sort of early 2000s vibe. It was made around that time, and it's just a really fun film. These teenagers break into this old convent that was burned down years ago, and it's they awaken some like demon nun creatures who just kill them off one by one. It's really crazy. It's non-stop, very entertaining. I really like the makeup of the nun demon creatures. That they were really cool. Can't take it seriously though. It's one that is just kind of silly at the same time. But like I say, I had a lot of fun watching this film. I can recommend that one. Next movie is Dead Creatures. Don't know anything about this one. This one was just sent to me from the Hardcore label. I don't have many of them, so always cool to see one of those releases. I'll be giving it a spin at some point to see what it's like. Next one from Full Moon is The Dead Hate the Living. I've never seen this. I remember reading about it in a Fangoria magazine years and years ago. It must be when it first came out, but never actually got around to seeing the film. So saw it online for cheap and picked it up. So I'll be checking that out soon. Right, next up, another Vinegar Syndrome one is Deadline. Again, haven't had a chance to watch this one yet. Did try and watch some of these before I did this video, but haven't got round to them all. But this one sounds really cool. I've heard some good things about it, so again, I'll be looking forward to checking out Deadline very soon. Right, next one from Mondo Macabre is The Devil Incarnate. This is a Paul Naschy film. I've been watching a few Paul Naschy movies recently, and saw this one. It wasn't a bad price, so picked it up. Again, like most of them, I'll be giving this a watch very soon, see what it's like. Right, next one, another Vinegar Syndrome one, Dolly Dearest. This one I have watched, and I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with this film. Nowhere near as good as Child's Play, but still an enjoyable film. I did like the Dolly Dearest character. She was really good, and there's some really good moments of her running around and attacking people and things like that. So overall, a fun film, and again another fantastic release from Vinegar Syndrome. This one again, I know nothing about this one. This is Doomsday Book. I think this is a little bit of an anthology. Again, looks like an interesting one. Because I don't know much about it, I don't really sort of read up on it, because it's nice to go into some films not knowing anything. So I'll be checking that out at some point. Next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death. I did not like this film. This was terrible. It's about this doctor who experiments on people in like this darkened mansion, and his experiments cause them to rage out and fight each other. But it is such a weird film. It's weird characters, weird acting, weird editing, weird music, and some of the characters in it are so strange it kind of makes for uncomfortable viewing. So yeah, this was a really bad one. Sorry, Vinegar Syndrome, but this movie was, I did not enjoy it at all. I was trying to think of anything good that I could say about this film, and if I was to say something, it would be there's actually some really good fight scenes in this film, quite randomly for a horror film. The subjects that are experimented on and then fight each other do so really well in these like almost like Enter the Dragon style fighting scenes. And I did, from what I can see, they hired black belt karate fighters to play the people who were fighting each other. So that's pretty good, but the rest of this film, I did not like it at all. So if you're somebody that missed the Vinegar Syndrome sale and are looking to pay a lot of money for that movie now, just beware. Next film, this just came in yesterday. This is The Final Wish. Again, don't know much about this one. It just looked interesting. So I'll give that one a watch soon. Next movie I've got is Flesh Freaks. This is some shot on video trash, which is very much an acquired taste. I like this film. I got some enjoyment out of it, but it's like zero budget. There's some quite drawn out, boring scenes in it, but towards the end you do get some pretty cool zombie moments and zombie scenes and things like that. So it wasn't too bad if you're into those kind of things. Next up is Flesh Hunters. This is another really low budget one. It's about some aliens that land in the woods, and a policeman and this convict who is transporting see them land, and they cause a lot of havoc in the woods, start killing people off, and so they have to kind of fight back and work out how to kill the aliens. It's not bad, it's good fun, it's just very low budget. Right, next thing I've got, again in the Vinegar Syndrome sale, is the Forgotten Charlie box set. Watched all three of these films, and I did a ranking video on how much I like them, so check that out if you want to know a bit more about what I thought of them. But overall, I really enjoyed all three films in this box set. If you're into your giallos and obscure Italian cinema or slashers, definitely check this out. Really enjoyed all three films. Okay, next film, I've never heard of this, I even have to look what it's called. Go, Goer, Gone. This was sent to me. Looks to be like a zombie comedy type film, but that is all I can tell you. Never heard of this until I received it the other day, so that's going to be an interesting watch. I'm looking forward to that. Next up from Vinegar Syndrome is The Immortalizer. This one wasn't too bad, it was okay. Quite cheesy, can't really take it seriously. This is about a doctor who is transporting, I think people's faces and body parts, like young, beautiful people. He's doing operations to move their body parts to rich old people who want to look younger again. So a bunch of teenagers inadvertently end up in his clinic and have to try and escape. It's not too bad. I had fun watching it, but nothing amazing. Next up, another film that I just got sent to me is Infected. Don't know anything about this one, so nice surprise. I'll look forward to checking this one out soon. Okay, next I've got Insidious 3 on Blu-ray. Rewatched this because it's been a while, and I enjoyed this one. It's pretty good. I don't mind the Insidious movies, so picked up that one. And then I got Insidious, the last key, the fourth one, just to complete all four Insidious films on Blu-ray. This one was okay. I thought this one was the weakest of the series, but it still had some pretty effective moments in it. Right, next one I picked up is the new Invisible Man. I really enjoyed this film. I thought this was a really well-made movie. This actress in it, she was fantastic, and I really felt for a character. This character who was like being stalked and tormented by this invisible man. She was fantastic. There were a few kind of plot holes in it, sort of like I think that CCTV would have picked him up way sooner, and would have maybe have ruined the whole thing, but you just have to look past that. But I really enjoyed this film, and thinking about like the 1930s one, I don't really think this is a remake because it's so different in every way from the 30s one. It stands alone really well as a separate film. But you know, if you were to kind of compare them, I think I actually prefer this one to the 1930s one. I'm really impressed with this film. I thought it was excellent. So happy to get that one. Right, next up I got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Still yet to see this one, and I found this online. This is a Target exclusive Blu-ray. It comes with this pretty cool slipcase, and you get the Blu-ray and the book as well. And I could only find one of these online, and we don't actually have Target stores in the UK, so I thought this would probably be pretty rare, and it was really cheap as well, so I thought I'd grab it and finally check this film out, because I really like Jurassic World. So hopefully this one will be an entertaining one as well. So that's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Okay, next movie I got from Mark of Horror is Necromantic 2. Not watched this yet. I think this is one I've got to be in the mood for, because it's a bit of an extreme one, but really looking forward to checking this one out. I enjoyed Necromantic 1 for what it was. Okay, again from Vinegar Syndrome, we've got Olivia in the beautiful slipcover. Still need to watch this one, but again, looking forward to doing so. Again from Vinegar Syndrome is Pale Blood. I was a little bit disappointed with this one. This is one that I was really looking forward to watching, and it was okay. It was alright. I didn't care for the characters in this at all. They were really bland characters, and as a result, it struggled to hold my interest. There's a few decent vampire moments towards the end, and the music's pretty good in it. But yeah, it just felt a little bit flat, a little bit lifeless. Still, wonderful release from Vinegar Syndrome. Still nice to have them in the collection because the Blu-rays that they release are so nice. Next up, this is Patient Zero. Again, this was just sent to me. Don't know anything about this, but it sounds pretty cool. I look forward to checking that one out. Okay, next up is The Possession of Hannah Grace. I've seen this one on Amazon. Just want to stand up. Seen this one on Amazon quite a bit. It's been on my wish list for a while, so just finally got around to picking it up. I think it only came in yesterday, so I'll be watching that one soon. And then similar title actually. This is The Possession of Michael King. So I've got 2 Possession films this month. I've heard really good things about this one, which is why I picked it up. Not had a chance to watch it yet, but yeah, I've heard a couple of people say this is really good. And I'm really into like my spooky films at the moment and paranormal stuff, so hoping I'll enjoy that. Next up is Priest. I saw this for really cheap, so just thought I'd pick this one up and add it to the collection. So I'll give that one a watch soon. Next up from Vinegar Syndrome is The Psychic Killer. I really enjoyed this film. This one had like a real nostalgic charm for me, even though I'd never seen it before. But as I mentioned in my Vinegar Syndrome video, I used to see the trailer for this as a kid all the time, so it was nice to finally watch it, and I had a lot of fun with it. Thought it was really good. It's about this guy that can murder people just by using his mind, and several people who have done him wrong are dispatched off in quite creative ways. It's a premise that I think they probably could have done a lot more with, but I think this was quite a low budget movie, and this was kind of before a time where every single film had to be a huge blockbuster. So really interesting premise, and I thought they did well with it for a low budget 70s film. Okay, next up is Red Riding Hood. I actually went to the pictures to see this when it first came out, and I've not seen it since. So just got it again cheap to add to the collection. I enjoyed this film. It's from the director of Twilight. Has a bit of a Twilight vibe to it, but it's not as unbearable as what Twilight is. This is a much better film in my opinion. and it focuses more on, it's like a werewolf film, and it focuses more on the werewolf legend rather than any like teenage love triangles or anything like that. So I much prefer this film. I like this one a lot more, and it looks really good as well. It's got like a lavish fairy tale kind of element to it, with sort of a dark horror take on werewolves, if that makes sense. But it's not bad. I enjoyed it. Next up is Resident Evil, the final chapter. So I've now got all the live action Resident Evil films. I enjoyed this, pretty much what I expected, and the over the top action and crazy zombie stuff going on. But I think if you like the others, you'll like this one. Next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Satan's Slave. I enjoyed this. This was a pretty good film, British movie. A little bit like the Hammer films, but a bit more risque, a bit more blood and things like that. In fact, there's a scene in this, just remembered, where someone gets stabbed in the eye, and it is one of the best effects I've ever seen of someone being stabbed in the face. Really, really good. I just remembered that. I just thought I'd mention it when I came to doing this update video. But really good film. It's got a nice atmosphere to it, and then, like I say, with scenes like that, it's just the odd kind of death scene that really kind of takes you by surprise. So glad to finally pick up that one. Next one from Vinegar Syndrome is Sector Siniestra. Still not got around to watching this, but it sounds like a really good one, so I'll be watching this one soon. Okay, from Blue Underground, got the wonderfully titled Strip Nude for Your Killer. Another one I've not had a chance to watch yet, but this is like a giallo slasher type film, I believe. So I'll be giving that one a spin soon. Next up, we've got Tales that Witness Madness. This is one of those like 1970s British anthology films. I enjoyed it. It's Donald Pleasance. He like runs an asylum, and he's explaining to his colleague why the people who are there, why they are there, and the reasons why make up, I think it's 4 stories. It's pretty good. I didn't like it as much as like the old Amicus anthologies. They, for me personally, they are the best. And this one didn't quite have the charm that they did. But it was pretty good, and I didn't see there's like a wraparound ending, which I didn't see coming, so credit to them for that. Right, next up from Mark of Horror is a double feature of When a Stranger Calls and Happy Birthday to Me. I've seen Happy Birthday to Me and enjoyed it, but I've not seen When a Stranger Calls, so I'll be looking forward to finally checking that one out. And the last one is When Evil Calls, which again, I don't know much about this one, but I like the cover for this. I'm trying to get more killer clown films in the collection anyway, so was happy to receive this one. So that is everything that I got in June, guys. So thank you for watching all that. Let me know which movies you think are good, any that you really like, any that you don't like. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.